microphone I use. It's really cool. So right now it's recording. Look at that. So this, and then once I'm done with this, and you can make segments. So you can make a whole bunch of little segments into, like, let's say an hour show, which is what I like to do. So it's kind of like a variety show. And then I just upload it, and then, you know, I title it, I give it a description, and then Anchor shoots it out to 13 different podcast apps and 13 different like directories and stuff, so people can come across that stuff. They can come across it in their Google Play, even in their own cars. You know, some of these cars they call them smart cars, where you talk out loud to it and it hears you. So it's so awesome, because I'm thinking, you know, if you're one of those people who has a lot of ideas and you go, oh, I just don't have time to write it down, well, heck, with a press of a button, you could just immediately start talking out your ideas, you know. And then on top of that, let's say if you got kids, or the day arrives where you got kids, and you know you end up becoming a grandpa. Well, now all of your family in the future can now listen back to what Grandpa's life was like when he was young. You know, the life that he lived, all the interesting people that he came across, all the heck, you could even do your own Uber podcast just while you're driving with each new person that comes in the car. You're like, hey, by the way, welcome. I just hit record on my podcast. You're more than welcome to, you know, I'd love for you to tell me about yourself, you know, and then, you know, do you have something you want to promote? Do you have something you want to talk about? And it's just so cool, because every single person has a story. And I've gotten so, like, I mean, I'll be on the subway, I'll be on the bus, I'll just start recording people, and it's so exciting, because I learn their stories, and then plus they're able to promote themselves and get themselves out there. Oh man, it's so cool. It's so fun. Like I remember when I first looked out online for trying to start a podcast, and you'd see all these different ads for microphones, all these different, you know, oh, you need this special microphone, or you need to pay the X amount of dollars to rent a studio, and pay the engineer this amount of money. And you look at that and you go, oh, well, that's kind of intimidating. You know, I don't know if I want to buy all that, you know, stuff to you know, oh geez, what's the episode going to be about? But what I gotta tell you, as soon as you got such quick access to just recording it and knowing that it can go up into a podcast, now all of your ideas are the entertainment, are the content for what's going in your podcast, you know. And plus it's copyrighted. You have the you have the rights. You own the trademarks, you know, and everything that's in that podcast, and it's well documented. It's on iTunes. It's on, you know, all these different areas, and it just oh man, it's so. Oh yeah, and I love being able to promote other people. I mean, whenever I go to an event or something, I'll record from there, because I want to be able to promote that place and what's going on there, and oh man, it's just so much fun. Oh, it's so much fun. It's so cool. And then everybody gets a chance to, you know, who I ask, they get a chance to tell their story. They get a chance to talk about what they're passionate about, what they're excited about. Plus, and then when I tell them about the podcast, they get to go back and then listen to it later on. I go, oh, wow, cool, you know, and then pass around the episode to their friends and family. Oh, it's so much fun. It's so great. I've interviewed, I mean, gosh, lots and lots of people.
In 1,000 feet, turn left.
And it's cool, because it makes every person a celebrity, so to speak. It gives them that opportunity to open up and tell, you know, a unique story. Or, for instance, have you ever had a UFO encounter?
No, not myself.
Do you know people who have?
Exactly.
Really?
I've known people that some do want to talk about it, some don't. Like, it's just too weird for them, I guess. But yeah, it's a good. I do believe that there has to be something out there with everything that everyone has seen and documented.
What kind of interesting things have you, like, do you have, you know personal people who have actually come across?
Actually, I had about 2 or 3 months ago, I picked up some people off of, I can't remember right now where it was. I want to say it wasn't too far from where I picked you up from. But,
it wasn't too far from where?
From where I picked you up
from.
Oh,
gotcha,
It was like a Whole Foods somewhere around your area somewhere. But, they had the video and everything of this crazy looking thing in the sky, just all big, kind of looked like it was making bubbles in the sky. Like,
wow.
It's weird to describe, but the best way to describe it would be like that thing that makes bubbles that you dunk into
Right,
the
right.
bowl. It kind of looked like that, like it was.
It looked like that, and
expanding
it was
like
flowing
that,
through the
all
sky?
in the air. Yeah, it was the crazy.
Whoa.
I've seen those in YouTube videos and all that, but
Right.
But the guy was like right there.
Whoa,
Just
really?
taking
So
video.
he actually had video evidence of.
Exactly.
What was that like for you to view that? I mean, what was that
very
like?
Cool, because I mean, the whole time I've believed that there has to be something out there. Everybody's seeing nothing. Well, not everybody, but enough people have seen all this happening, and it's been documented not just common people like you and me, but it's something. It's really something to think of.
So was it in the daytime or nighttime?
I want to say it wasn't late at all, because I don't drive too late into the night, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was already dark, so I want to say like around 5 at least.
And that's when
6 p.m.
that's
It
when
was
the people
already
played
a little dark, and I picked them up like around 6 p.m. I think it was.
And did he see
was
it that
already a
day?
little dark.
Was it
Yeah,
that?
as soon
It was
as
that same day.
That's why they were asking me like, "Oh,
Whoa.
you didn't see that in the sky?" And I was like,
Whoa.
"What?" And I was just freaking you all out. And they showed me the video. And I was like,
Whoa.
all right there in the sky. So.
Wow.
No, yeah, it happens from time to time.
That's incredible. I just recently saw a documentary about a guy. It's called The Curse of the Man Who Sees UFOs.
Oh, really?
And this guy, he lives out in Monterey, California. He sees a UFO, I would say, at least 3 times a week. At least 3 times a week. He's got all this video evidence, and then in fact the guy who went out to do a documentary about him, that guy took the documentary guy along with him, and while they were out they saw UFOs. And so then the documentary guy's like, well, yeah, I see what you're talking about. I see those dots, because you could see these dots, they're just floating and moving, and you're like, wait, that isn't how a helicopter would move, that isn't how an airplane would move. And it was so interesting. He's like, I don't know what to tell you, what I'm looking at right now. And then at the end of the movie, the guy that he's following around goes, hey, I think I see something up in the sky. And so, I mean, just right there in daylight. And the guy has these special telescopes where he can see infrared. So he can actually see the orbs up in the sky during the daytime. Man, it's so intriguing. It's so amazing to me how many people I come across actually who have stories of these kinds of nature.
I know, right?
Either they have their own stories or they know someone who had a story. And that is so intriguing to me.
Part of the reason why you gotta keep an open mind on everything. It's just crazy what's out there.
There's a woman named Dolores Cannon, and when she was alive, she would hypnotize people and take them back through their past lives. And a lot of these folks would go to not only past lives but also future lives, and they would learn so much. They would tell her so much about the universe and how it was created, and all these different aliens and all these different breeds and all. And what's so interesting is that through the decades of her doing this, she would come across so many people who never even knew one another. Like, so none of these people knew one another, and they would all have these stories that matched up with similar names of alien species, similar names of planets, and types of alien species that they were on these other planets, and certain missions that they came down here to do. And wow, I mean, it's mind-opening. And there's a whole series of these called The Convoluted Universe. And boy, oh boy, they are the most exciting book to read, even if they're just science fiction. Even if I were to just read them as science fiction and go, you know what, none of this is, actually real. And I just look at it like science fiction, they're phenomenal science fiction novels, that's for sure. And to know that this lady, she didn't channel this information, she didn't she wasn't the one saying the information. She was the one who was actually bringing it about out of these people while they're in these hypnotic states. She would just ask them these questions, and these people would come about all this information, and she would find out about Atlantis. She would find out about Bigfoot, about Loch Ness Monster, about all of these things that we ever talked about or heard about. Dragons, fairies, frickin' trolls, elves. All of these things, they are all rooted in fact. They're all rooted in the truth of, you know, David and Goliath, all these different kinds of stories where there are giants who roam the earth, all these mythical creatures, and they actually did. And these are just stories that were handed down through time and handed down and handed down. And it's just so intriguing when you hear about this information, and to know that all of those worlds are happening currently and right now, parallel to the world that we're living in right now. And when you hear about these stories of what happens when we go off into our dream states, and we come across our past lives, future lives, alien lives, you know, life as a rock, you know, life as a cat, life as an eagle. There are all these people who go through these various lives, and you realize, whoa, everything is operating with a consciousness. Every single thing has its own consciousness. It's all waves and vibrations. It's all frequency. And what makes one frequency better or worse than another frequency? It's its own frequency. And just because this frequency cannot get into the mind or language of the other frequency doesn't mean that, you know, it's just a thing that's just happening. It's just a, you know, that's just going on.
Thing, though, we need just nobody really is consciously aware of that, man.
Like the air molecules, they got a consciousness. The music vibrations right now, they are their own living entity. They're their own living entity, which is just, I mean, that blows my mind. There's a life going on with the mold that grows on the cheese in the fridge. There's a life that's going on with you know, the worms that are in the dirt, and the communication they have with each other, and the communication they have with the dirt, and the air between the air molecules in between that dirt. I mean, my God, it blows my mind when I think about this stuff. And you hear about, you know, all these great philosophers and shaman and spiritual teachers and all these things where they just match up. Mayans. I had the opportunity of interviewing these Mayans who, you know, knew each other, who would travel with each other to the future and the past, and using ayahuasca, simply drinking chocolate, you know, just, I mean, crazy, all kinds of different things. We're going, wow. Anything that my mind could comprehend, there are entire galaxies and worlds that are happening that both say yes to that and grow completely even further in that same direction and grow even greater. And whew,
so much to be aware of and that we're not aware of.
Yeah.
It's impossible then there to the rest of these people just understand.
Wow. You know, a lot of times they joke about that the movie The Matrix is a documentary. Right? I'm sure you've heard about that before. The Matrix is a documentary, and then you go, maybe let's look at this a lot closer. Or the movie They Live. They Live is another one. It's showing you exactly what's going on in those billboards. They Live. Oh my gosh, it's you know, Shepard Fairey with the whole Obey. You know how you see Obey clothing and billboards? All that came from that movie They Live. It all came from that movie, because in that movie he puts on the glasses and, you know, he'll see the billboard and it says Obey, or he'll see a billboard and it'll say Consume, or he'll look up at a billboard with the glasses and it says Sex. He looks up at the billboard and it says Buy Now. You know, so it's like the glasses show him what exactly is going on in the billboards, what exactly the faces actually look like, you know, who are presenting the news, for instance, the real faces behind the politicians, all this stuff. And you're like, wow, that is spot on. It's just brilliant. And when you see movies like that, you see movies like The Matrix, and you talk to Mayans, who do ceremonies, and and then you hear about people like Dolores Cannon, or you read philosophers like Alan Watts, and all these things are matching up. You're going, wowzers, this is something to pay attention to. This is the education we ought to be dipping into here.
Exactly. That's just it's just so.
In your travels from doing Uber stuff, I'm sure you come across a lot of very interesting people in your on your rides, huh?
Yeah, that's one of the main things why I keep doing it too. Because to have
You will arrive.
substantial conversations like this.
Right.
Like this. That's pretty
Yeah, you're getting the actual real life raw version of humanity right there, finger on the pulse. Right, the actual humanity rather than whatever's on the internet or the news, what have you. Well, yeah, we're gonna be over there on the left side by the Viper.
You've arrived at your destination.
Do you think it's better if I turn right here or just wait for the traffic to clear out?
Oh, I see what you mean. Maybe.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe turn. Yeah, maybe turn. This is good.
I'm still gonna have to wait.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is the only left turn lane. Yeah.
On the left.
Oh my God, that's crazy. It knows my name. That's crazy.
Nice.
Look at that. So yeah, Yachtley Crew. We're playing up there up on the big Viper Room billboard that's up there, and oh man, it's so much fun. So the first Friday of every month we'll be here,
First Friday.
rocking the yacht rocking the socks off, and just having a grand old time. So many good vibes come to our shows too. So many good people. We just had a New Year's Eve show in the town of what do they call that? Simi Valley. Here's a bigger postcard. This one is more accurately shows us. But yeah, it's so much fun. People show up wearing captain's hats and like they just stepped off a boat.
Exactly.
Some people are wearing their Hawaiian shirts. Some of them look like they're from the old Miami Vice TV show. It's so cool. We also have a lot of YouTube videos out there too.
Oh, you're on YouTube. Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun YouTube videos, Instagram videos. What are your thoughts about synchronicities? About those things like deja vu, coincidences?
Good question. They gotta happen for a reason because it's hard to explain, but when you feel that deja vu sensation, it's like nothing really.
Left turn on Ellis Street.
Oh yeah, you can turn anywhere on the right side over in this corner. I don't know why it's telling you the left. Yeah, when you experience it, it's a really good vibe, right?
Exactly. It's like you can't really You can't really have another experience like that.
Right.
What I'm trying to say. Like it's so weird, but in the good way. Like
yeah,
when it happens.
It's something you feel like I need to pay attention to this, right?
Exactly. It's.
Oh,
thank
man.
you, Kurt.
Well, thanks for the talk, and
thank you,
keep your cosmic eyes open. All right, you take care. Have a great night.
Have a great night. Take care.
We are currently doing some sound check things here at the Viper Room. From what I heard, a little bit down the street, there is a UFO thing set up near where the Tower Records building used to be. So, I plan on, once we're done with this, I plan on going out there and talking to those folks for a little bit before we gotta be on stage. We're gonna be on stage at 10. So, between now and then, we have time to eat and get ready and go on stage. So, more later.
I guess Nick's still trying to book New York, so I don't know.
Time is now 9:33. We're going to be going on stage, I think, at 10:30 now.
If we do New York,
Going to give us a little time to eat something here, and then play Viper Room. Already the crowd is winding its way around the building out there, and Paulie's friends are here for the very first time.
Robin and Nyoko. Hey, happy anniversary, Robin and Nyoko.
And how did they find out about it?
I went to college with them at California State University, Northridge.
Oh.
Go Matadors!
Oh.
My goodness. Is this you?
Yes, nachos.
Oh, we got food over here. Here we go. Ready to rock.
This is a Friday night.
We
1984.
built that city on rock and some roll, some buttermilk rolls.
Look at the lime S.
If this was 1980s, what would happen?
This was 1984, the Sunset Strip. You fucking packed.
Oh,
It's Friday night, people.
I know.
Well, if you look at that line, everybody's at the Viper Room, really.
they are.
True that.
They are.
Do we have to go in and visit what's her name to get our wristbands?
It's knocking on the side door. You guys can do that.
I think we do. On our way over to the Viper Room. We had a hearty meal. And there's no telling what's going to happen.
Well, yeah.
Another fun show. So, turns out, while we were in there during sound check, I told the guys how I had a conversation with the Uber driver about how he came across some folks who had video footage that they had just taken of an unidentified flying object they saw in the sky before they got into his Uber car. So I was talking during sound check to some of the guys about that, and they said, "Hey, did you see over there in the parking lot of the old Tower Records? There's a spaceship over there." And I said, "Is this close enough to just walk to?" So before we went up to eat, I went up to the parking lot, and I was going to podcast from it. However, I didn't have enough room in my phone, so I had to delete some old videos and stuff. In the parking lot, and right near it was a billboard. So in the parking lot, there was a UFO. It looked like it crashed into the ground. There's a bunch of caution tape around it. There are a bunch of gates around it, and signs that said Roswell, New Mexico. So apparently there's going to be a Roswell, New Mexico TV show now. I'm wondering if this is a continuation of the TV show Roswell, and they're just giving it a new name. I'm curious if it's going to contain any of the same actors, which is interesting because recently I saw the movie Coherence, which I believe I talked about on a different podcast. If you get a chance, check out Coherence. In that is a guy who claims that he was in Roswell. And now that I think about it, yeah, it's just an older version of him. So I'm thinking back in my brain to that poster that I saw, and if he was on that poster, he might have been. It was in silhouette, he and some other gal. And so it's just great that this kind of awareness is coming back. Especially since I recently saw that documentary, The Man Cursed with Seeing UFOs. If you get a chance, check out that documentary, The Man Cursed with Seeing UFOs. It's amazing to see his story and all of the different video footage that he's captured throughout time, and the reactions of the documentarian to when he sees a UFO with the guy. It's so incredible, so intriguing. By the way, we had an extraordinary time tonight at the Viper Room. Craig Robinson was there from The Office, which is crazy because my mom, when she was in town, we were watching The Office. We saw plenty of Craig Robinson on there, and I'd been thinking about recently, because he's come out to see us at the Viper Room, and then he came out to see us at a charity poker tournament where I met Donnie Most, which, by the way, I still have his card, and I gotta have him on the radio show, and I gotta get him on the podcast. Wow. So, at this celebrity poker tournament, that's where Craig Robinson showed up there. So I had been thinking about recently, especially since seeing him on The Office, thinking about, oh my gosh, I wonder if he's going to show up to another Yachtley Crew show. And sure enough, he showed up tonight. I didn't see him, but some of the other guys got a photo of him. You could check it out if you have Instagram. Go to Instagram. Check out Yachtley, YACHTLEY_CREW. So just spell yacht, LEY _crew, and you should see that photo. Apparently, there are a bunch of people associated with the president of Warner Brothers who were there tonight. It's intriguing. It's intriguing how this is just picking up steam. There are a bunch of people there tonight who recognize us from seeing us at a bunch of other shows. Just blows my mind. Blows my mind. Pure explosions.
What do Gregorian chants, Indian, medieval, and 20th century minimalist music have in common? The drone, a part of musical history for thousands of years. It continues to entrance us today. Now, 8 sound artists have transmuted their drones into an immersive cinematic experience. Join us for the Drone Cinema Film Festival on Saturday, January 19th at the Highways Performance Space in Santa Monica. A mesmerizing evening with cinematic tapestries woven from the drones of light and sound. For more, visit highwaysperformance.org.
I can't remember if I mentioned this earlier tonight or not. However, it's worth talking about, especially since Gonzo is here. You can hear his purring. Turns out that a bartender at Viper Room, which I just found out tonight. I'm sure I talked about this. If I did, I'm still blown away that I just found out tonight while we were over at that Riley's place, which I didn't get on audio. Someone said, "Did you tell Kurt?" They said this to Christian. They go, "Did you tell Kurt?" So I probably told him 100 times. I'm like, well, tell me anyway. You know, whatever this thing is, tell me. So it turns out, when he used to live in Mammoth, making the snow, he's a snowmaker. He makes the snow up there. These big machines. He knows all the chemistry, the molecules, the subatomics, the quasars, you know, whatever is necessary in turning that air, that cold, crisp air, into snow. He knows how to do it. He's your man. He's your guy. And he says the ratio of men to women is like 15-1. Not many women up there. And it turns out when he we came into, you know, the Viper Room. There's a woman behind the bar. Turns out, so her name is Tamara. Turns out she knew Christian way back up in Mammoth when he lived up there. And here they reconnect again out here in Hollywood. Like, how crazy is that? It's amazing. And the term I keep hearing from people is, oh, it's a small world. Yes, and then what do you do with that information? Yes, and it's a magical, cosmic, conscious world that's speaking to us. So what do we do with that information? You know, I realize that I cannot get bothered with those who don't view such a magnificent synchronistic moment. I cannot get angry at people who don't appreciate it to the same level and degree that I do. It'd be akin to, see, I don't even want to hear myself say this, because I can already come up with something. Well, okay. It's akin to, I would say, someone being bothered with me for not appreciating, I don't know, let's say the Cardinals, or the Bears, or the Cubbies, White Sox. It'd be similar to that. You know, someone's like, what? Are you kidding me? You don't know the stats? You don't know the RBIs? You don't know all this stuff? You don't know all the stats of these people? What are you, nuts? They've played baseball for all these years, and they got baseball cards, and they're on TV, and people talk about them. And what? How do you not know that? Well, it just doesn't reverberate with me. It's something that, you know, that's just not my path. It's just not what I'm doing right now. It's a different thing. It's just a different thing. I got something different happening that excites me. It's a truth that I'm following. So I realized that I cannot get bothered with people for not recognizing those things. I think this is, I'm going to go into the reason why it might be, you know, I'm going to analyze the reason why I might be bothered by it, because I hold such an importance to it. I think it's the purest form of cosmic language that we can get. I'm sure there are even more pure versions. I have not found it. I've not found the end of the line by any means. I would say this is definitely an inroad into getting to know, which to me is the most important aspect of anything in the world. You know, the big question is, what's the meaning of life? What are we doing here? My concerns are finding more and more connections with the universe, more and more connections with how it works, how I can speak in its language, what is its language, how can I speak in that language, and then coming across others who attempt to do the same thing so we can kind of geek out on it. It's no fun geeking out on your favorite anime or, you know, I don't know, Legos or what have you, if you're not also talking to someone who can reflect that back to you and play along with you. You want someone who can throw the ball back to you. Like Monty Python. You want them to throw the ball back to you. Not just hits them in the chest and just sits there. You want to be able to talk shop. You want to geek out. There's something so extraordinary about that. So, my geek out is the magic of the universe. Well, all those things. All of it. That is the truest thing to me. Truer than anything I could ever be a part of. It's a feeling. If feelings are true, that means these circumstances are true. Because the circumstances ring in with the feelings. If they cause an interaction with that feeling, there's life to it. That's what's interesting. There's life to it. If it could cause such a reaction, there must be life to it. There's life to it. There's electricity to it. Electricity. How can we write off electricity as a non-material being? It's the being that's everywhere. You know, imagine that if we had a scope, like an infrared scope, where we could see, like the guy in the documentary, the man who's cursed with seeing UFOs. He has a special telescope where he can look up there and he can see special things in the sky that you can't with regular telescopes. So you can see that stuff. Imagine if we had one of those things that showed us the electricity, where the electricity is. What is electricity? Energy. What is energy? Life. Why aren't we learning more about, like, isn't that a great thing? Wouldn't that be a great thing? Learn more about how we can connect with that? There's a lot more of invisibility of things that we can't see than there is stuff that we can see. So That's kind of the most important thing to me, is learning how to have a relationship with that stuff that I cannot see. So, anyway, now we all know where I come from and why I might be a little bothered by, it's more than just hoping that someone appreciates my same team or appreciates my same favorite film director or appreciates my same favorite books. It's that and the deeper that anybody could really reach, which is the purest communication of the universe, the all that is, which contains all of those things that have ever been invented or ever will be invented. The universe, the all that is, the very thing that creates the feelings that we feel. It's the generator of these things. It's making things move. Why am I not, why am I not looking to enrich that deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper? Well, that's the goal. To be able to integrate it on the deepest level, that it becomes a collaborator. I guess that's one of the other things too, is like, how far off of a true collaborator do I feel the universe to be, the all that is, the higher mind, the oversoul and oversouls, the source, the stream of consciousness, the infinite possibilities and infinite dimensions, etc., etc. I want to be its collaborator. Why? Well, I want to move things with my mind. I want to levitate. I want to do things that seemingly we can only do in dreams, yet I want to do it in this life that I'm living here right now. Why? Well, there is that smart-ass aspect of me who just wants to show to the non-believers and the cynics and the negative, just the default mode of no. Those mindsets. There's that shallow kind of like smart-ass aspect of wanting to do that. There's also the aspect of wanting to know for sure, just like in a lucid dream. You go, yeah, I sense this is happening. I know I'm in a dream right now. That kind of feeling, that kind of vibe that comes with that, in this realness that you have in your actual life. I want to, like I'm looking at this Norwegian Santa statue right now. That'd be fun to see him levitate. To have such a connection with the universe where I could put in a program into the zeros and ones and go, boop, 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 boop. Levitate Santa. Move him from there to the couch. And what's interesting is I look at Santa and he's not moving right now, and I wonder what are those ingredients that enable him to move from there to there? What is the exact power that I need to speak to or collaborate with? Because I know in a parallel universe he's floating. That's the crazy thing. In all the worlds of infinite possibilities, there's that version of me who can move things, levitate things with his mind and crystals, just like the Mayans did, just like the Egyptians did when they were moving their big blocks, moving them into the pyramids. If you get a chance, check out the way you can hear it. Go to mixcloud.com/Inspirado Projecto. That's where I upload all my K-Chung episodes, because a lot of times I'll put copyrighted music on there, and I don't want to chance it on the podcast where the whole thing. What the heck? It wouldn't hurt, right? Why don't I try it? I don't know. Is there something in me, perhaps, that doesn't want to get flagged as it's whatever I'm imagining it to be, right? So back to the levitating Santa Claus. And having that kind of relationship, that kind of cosmic interaction and language with the all that is, the same all that is that powers our cats, our animals, powers the plants, that moves the air around in the way that it does, that inspires trees and plants and grass to give us oxygen. The very thing that inspires us to exhale CO2 to give to the plants, to give to the planet. How interesting is that? How interesting is that? It's still fun. It's funny to me that what comes along with these greater inventions of these tools that enable us to see and hear and be aware of other frequencies, vibrations. We talked about one of them, the infrared, thermal, microwave, radio, ultraviolet. All these are different waves. So if we can find ways to talk through those, certainly we can find ways to tune into all the other waves to do stuff. Imagine if you had walkie-talkies that used ultraviolet rays to communicate. How cool would that be? Wow. So I'm just thinking in this parallel version, in this parallel universe, that Santa is levitating. And I've figured out a way, my other parallel self has spent years, maybe studying Nikola Tesla, studying mathematics, studying programming, codes. That's the thing. Imagine if you got a philosopher together with someone who knows how to program, how to code. Now, what if that coder, what if that philosopher is also a chemist? Let's say you get a chemist into the mix as well. Quantum physicist. You get all these kind of guys, like a Ronald Mallet. Ooh, I ought to interview him. He's building a time machine. We ought to build a GoFundMe page for him. I wrote him one time. Why the heck, you know what? Let's find that email. Where I wrote Ronald Mallet. I don't know which. Let's see if I still got that. Oh my God, that'd be great. Let's see. Ronald Mallet. Okay. Alright, here we go. Did you know that Gmail does not have free, yes, it has free emails, but then at some point it will charge you, or it will cut off your cut it off. Oh, here we go. Okay. So I'm going to try to find Ronald Mallet. Oh, here we go. Okay, Ronald Mallet. All right, let's see. Here we go. Ronald Ronald, ever since I've learned about your quest to fully investigate time travel and have watched your videos through the past couple of years, I've been waiting for the day when I get the big bucks so I can help fund your efforts and find these amazing answers. I recently saw this in the news and felt compelled to send this info on to you. His name is Jason Paget, and he sees mathematical formulas everywhere. Ever since he was recently mugged and beaten, it is his superhero power. I'm imagining that if you were to meet and he were to see the great work you are doing, he might be able to aid in solving some equations you've been wondering about. I am still searching for his email address, but at least now you know. If someone told you about him first already. But at least now you know he exists, and the possibility exists that he holds the key to unlocking some of your questions. Take care, Kirkland Denon. Here we go. Hello, Kurt. Currently, researchers at the University of Connecticut and other institutions are working with me to develop experiments and acquire the funding that is necessary to verify my theoretical results on the gravitational effects of circulating light beams, which is the basis for my time travel research. Realistically, the startup funding for the work is on the order of $250,000. This is not a large amount for scientific experiments. However, this threshold amount has not yet been achieved. The project is divided into two phases. The first phase involves experimentally demonstrating that a circulating light beam, such as that produced by a ring laser, would lead to a vortex of space that is known as a gravitational frame dragging. This is a crucial phrase that needs to be established. This in itself is a new physical prediction that was the result of my theoretical work based on Einstein's general theory of relativity. Initial funding would go into this first phase. If the predicted gravitational frame dragging by light is seen, then we would go on to the second phase, which would be to experimentally show that this vortex of space leads to a twisting of time, which would lead to time travel. It is not possible at this point to estimate cost of the second stage. If you would like to learn more about my work, you might be interested in my book, Time Traveler, a Scientist's Personal Mission to Make Time Travel a Reality, which is available in paperback on Amazon.com. After you've had the opportunity to read the book, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Best wishes, Ronald Mallet, University of Connecticut. So if any of you live out there in Connecticut and you go to the University of Connecticut, you can actually meet Ronald Mallet. Maybe he will show you this time machine that he's been building. It's just really cool. Just very, very cool. Man. I'm sending an email to myself to interview this guy, so you all can hear him talk about this. Okay. Take care, and more later. By the way, Saturday the 5th, right now, as I'm saying this message, Saturday the 5th, Vibe Room was awesome. Tonight, we're playing in Dana Point. At Stillwater, we love it. Stillwater Spirits and Sounds, make it out there if you can. Out in Dana Point, people are going to be awesome and extraordinary. I can guarantee you that. So I will most likely, I'm going to hop into the Uber for this next, for tonight. So check out that episode. That'll be rocking and rolling. I can't wait to see what kind of interesting conversations we get into with this Uber driver. And you can guarantee I will be asking more questions concerning synchronicities, UFOs, out of body experiences and the such. So that's what I'm going to pull out of the minds of these Uber drivers from now on. You can count on that.